Uh, this is going to be a rambling, a rant, but I want to talk about a couple of subjects. For the record, I do this for me, for venting purposes, and if you don't like it, please get the fuck off my channel. I'm not looking for no praise, no accolades. I do this for me. Now back to the subject at hand. The first topic I want to talk about is wrestling. I want to talk about wrestling. And what I mean by wrestling is I'm talking about the wrestlers and when they have to travel, for most of the time, traveling to different parts of the states, to different countries and all that stuff. It's very tiresome. They have to, it's a set schedule for them in order for them to make it to their specific destinations so they can perform for the crowd because that's their job. They're wrestlers, they're performers. You know what I'm saying? They're athletes too. They're athletes and performers. And in my honest opinion, they deserve a union, but that's not going to happen because people like Vince McMahon is very money hungry and he wants to keep all the money and all the benefits for himself. That's why he refused to have a union. But that's another story. But that's another topic for another day. I want to talk about wrestlers dealing with the fatigue and traveling. What I'm saying, having time to work out, having time to eat. It's very tiresome. It's pretty stressful. But the one thing I want to point out is their traveling schedule. Their families. You know what I'm saying? The more they travel out, the less and less they spend time with their family. And it's like they don't have time to connect with their families like they should. Their wives and their sons and daughters and all that stuff. They don't have enough time to connect with, what I'm saying, to spend some quality time with their families like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't have time for that because they out there on the road traveling and all that stuff, and it's really stressful. And I know they miss their families. I know they do. I know they do. But damn. See, what I'm trying to convey is that there was this one particular story about Hulk Hogan, and I remember a long time ago, Hulk Hogan was at a music event and he saw his son Nick performing as a DJ, on the turntables, and he did pretty good. And people were shocked when Hulk Hogan said that, I didn't know my son was good being a DJ. I didn't know he was good on the turntables. And some people were shocked, they was kind of shocked for what he said. And it was like, man, man, Hulk Hogan should know this. That's his son and all that stuff. But you have to understand, from my honest opinion, from my viewpoint, you have to understand why Hulk Hogan said that. Think about it. He's a wrestler. I'm saying? He's a very famous wrestler. And by him being a wrestler, he had to travel to different parts of the world. And by him traveling a lot, he didn't have enough time to spend. He didn't have the time to spend with his family. They good quality time to get to know and spend with his family like that. So that's why I think and believe why Hulk Hogan said that. Because by him saying that he was surprised to see Nick being good in music like that, that's because of him. That's because of Hulk Hogan's traveling schedule of him being a wrestler. And he never knew those things about him. It's very sad, it's very unfortunate. But it is what it is. Like many people say in the wrestling industry, you got to make sacrifices. And one of the big sacrifices that you have to make is not spending quality time with your family because you are out there wrestling, hustling and bustling, traveling to different parts of the world, so just to make a living and to also follow your passion. So that's all I want to say on that particular subject as far as wrestlers traveling. And another topic I want to talk about too. It doesn't pertain to wrestling, maybe a little bit when it comes to family, whatever, or your spouse. I want to talk about this topic called love. Love. And My opinion on love is that love. Well, first things first, man. When it comes to a marriage, I'm put it this way: when it comes to a marriage or a relationship, in my honest opinion, marriage and relationships is all about loyalty and sacrifice. I say it again: when it comes to marriage, it's all about loyalty and sacrifice. I will put it that way. It's all about loyalty and sacrifice when it comes to marriages and relationships. But when it comes to the big L, which is love, in my honest opinion, I think love is conditional, especially when you're in a relationship slash marriage. You know, but like I said, the inner workings of a marriage is all about loyalty and sacrifice. But when it comes to the concept of love, I think love is conditional, especially when it comes to the females, because when you think about a man's role in relationship or marriage, it's all about protect and provide. You have to protect and provide for your family. You know what I'm saying? Not just for the woman, but for the whole family. So you have to protect and provide. And the woman is supposed to bring a lovely atmosphere within the homestead, within the safe haven, which is your home. And she's supposed to raise the kids and all that stuff. And she's supposed to, cater to the man as well, and also bring peace into the homestead, which is your home. But what I truly mean by love is conditional is all about the things that you have to do as a man to provide for your family, especially towards your wife. And a lot of men nowadays, since we live in the age of social media, a lot of dudes has been coming forth and saying that, marriage is a farce, especially when you bring the courts inside a relationship or a marriage and all that stuff, because a marriage is supposed to represent some type of spiritual divinity, some type of spiritual divine between two people. So the courts should not have anything to do with it, because once you invite the courts in something that's special and spiritual, that's when it becomes desecrated. That's when it becomes it'll basically become violated, because when you bring the courts in marriages, that's when the whole money situation starts to come on in, and when that happens, the beauty and the purity of a marriage will soon be destroyed because of the courts interfering with that marriage, if you get what I'm coming from. And like I said before, we live in the age of social media. A lot of dudes who've been married for like 20, 30, 40 years, they've been saying that, marriage is a farce. These young men should not get married because marriage is only benefit for the women, not for the man. A lot of men has been taken to the cleaners. They have to, a lot of their money and their savings, has been taken away, even their house. And you got a lot of men out here that's living by themselves, living in one-bedroom apartments, or some of them even living in their cars. And worst case scenario, they commit suicide because they lost damn near everything and all that stuff, because of their divorce. And then I realized that based on the statistics, they said that around 60 to 70% of divorces has been initiated by females, because the females are not happy. They're not happy at the homestead. They're not happy at home. And they said there's many reasons why. It could be infidelity, or it could be loss of money. But I also realized that the main issue when it comes to divorces, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that the main issues when it comes to separation is financial issues, financial problems, and number 2, infidelity. But for what I've research and the people that I talk to, a lot of these men is being taken by the being is being taken to the cleaners. They lost half of everything. They lost almost everything, and they trying to recoup it back, one day at a time. And after that, they never get married again, so they become a bachelor. They out there, doing their own thing. But, some don't become bachelors. You know, they just decided to stay single and just focus on themselves to rebuild themselves over again, which is a smart thing to do because you don't want to get into a relationship straight right after from your divorce. You need time to heal. And I realize some of these older men that's been married for 20 or 30 years don't get involved in no relationships because they trying to heal themselves, man, because of their previous marriage. And yeah, man, a lot of these men out here, man, that's been married for a long time, who's been divorced, what I'm saying, they out here struggling, but they taking it day by day and they making it. They are making it. I will admit that some of these dudes are making it. What I'm saying? But it's gonna take a while for them to rebuild themselves up, mentally, spiritually, and financially. You know. And going back to the whole love thing, I still think and believe that love is conditional based on the things of what you provide for the female and for your family and all that stuff. And women want to, I hear so many things, so many songs and all that stuff about how women be getting unappreciated and all that stuff. I get that, but since we live in the age of social media, sorry, excuse me. But since we live in the age of social media, you start to hear the other side of things, how a lot of men are actually unappreciated. They out there working a 9 to 5 and all that stuff in their careers. They out there, sacrificing and providing for their families. And then you realize that the woman doesn't give a damn about that. The only thing that she cares about is what you provide for her and her kids, and that's it. She really doesn't give a damn about you. Basically, a lot of the men are saying that these women does not give a damn about you. They only give a damn about what you can provide for them. Which they understand to some degree that you have to be a provider, but don't treat them like they're a workhorse. Don't treat them like they're a piece of shit, even though they're out there doing their job. See, men just want to be appreciated. It's not the acknowledgement. They just want to feel appreciated, man. They want to feel like they're contributing to something. They want to feel love too, but nowadays, a lot of these females don't want to show love to that man, even though they're married to him for the past 10 or 20 years. They don't want to show love to him. It's just, they'll rather show love to the kids or rather towards the man as well. It's the lack of appreciation. And they wonder why a lot of men opt out on love. Opt out of their relationships. They opt out of their relationships and marriages because they can't find love at home. So that's why they be out there, searching for other women who can provide it for them. You know what I'm saying? And in some cases, it usually be their side chicks that they end up being with for the rest of their lives because the main chick, aka their wife, don't show them no love no more. But when it comes to the side chick, they really do. And that's when, in some cases, or in a lot of cases, the side chick, usually becomes the main chick in the long run, because the main chick forgotten her place and ain't doing her job. She's not doing a damn job. So usually the side chick, pick up the pieces and help that man out, and she eventually becomes the main chick. But but that's all I gotta say about that, man. That's all I gotta say. But overall, in my honest opinion, love is conditional. I don't think it's real. It's all about what you can provide for the woman and the family, and that's about it. So that's all I gotta say about that, man. So that's all I gotta say. So yeah, man. So thank you so much, and have a good day.